logistics there. So
no worries,
okay.
man. We are live. We are live.
Wonderful.
We are live. Welcome, everyone, to Courageous Conversations. It's your host, T.
And T.
Welcome to episode number 4. Today's episode is super special, not only because I just got a fresh haircut, shout out to Dave the Barber, but because we have a panel of retired military vets. I mean, I'm super excited for this conversation because I want to first thank you all for taking the time out of your schedule to join us. And for the viewers who are watching, can you please, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and that subscribe to our channel. It'll be super helpful. But yeah, today's conversation is built around our retired military vets. Let me tell you, there was a time in my life where actually I thought about joining the military, and then I clicked on YouTube and I saw those videos, and then I realized that it's just not for me. So that thought quickly left as fast as it came. But again, thank you all for joining us in today's crazy conversation. I'm just going to hand it off to Mr. Tyler Saylor so he can go over our agenda for today.
So first, let's start off with introductions from everybody here. Whoever wants to go first, just start.
This is open conversation. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead and knock it off, man.
Hi, Joe Hedge, retired Staff Sergeant Marine Corps. I did 13 and a half years. I was medically retired. Happy to be here. Happy to be alive today. And every day is a blessing.
Yes, sir.
All right, my name Reggie Swift. How y'all doing? I'm in the Navy. Been in the Navy for 18 years plus. Going to retire in about a year and some change. I've been on 4 different ships. We'll talk about that later if we could.
Mm-hmm.
Been all over the world. Been on the ground in certain places too. Yeah, right now I'm actively like a drill sergeant. I ain't gonna go into detail too much of that either. Can't.
My name is Thomas. I'm from Chicago. I'm sorry, someone talking?
No, I was sharing it on my Facebook. Go ahead, sorry.
My name is Thomas. I'm from Chicago. I did 4 years in the Army. I was a tanker. I got out last year sometime. Now I'm in the HVAC industry, things like that.
Wonderful. Great. My name is James Borden. I was previous Air Force, 4 years. Loved it. Would do it again. It just wasn't a thing that I went through for 20 years. But overall, a great experience.
My name is Carlos. I'm from Chicago as well. I did 6 years active infantry, staff sergeant, and 2 years in reserves. And now just finished getting my license for education, so in history. So yeah.
Oh wow! So you served. Now you are a teacher right now, Carlos.
Just finished my student teaching, of course, with Ms. Saylor there.
Mm-hmm.
For social studies. So that's a process moving forward. But again, just like Mr. Hedge there said, glad to be alive. I did 6 years, 2 times to Afghanistan, once to Djibouti, Africa.
Oh, that's great. Well, it actually takes a special person to, join the military. It's not for everyone. So for those, anytime I see, anyone in a uniform, I always like to thank them and appreciate them for, serving for our country. So, thank you all, and truly appreciate the service that you brought for our country. I obviously take a special person. So I know, it's obviously Sunday. We got some football on. Everyone has things to do. So we're just gonna go right into some of our questions that we have for today. Ain't that right, Tyler?
Yes, sir. So first question. Anybody can just start going off. Open conversation. What was your upbringing like?
What was the upbringing? How did you decide, like, I want to be in the military? Like how does one come up with, like, all
right, I think I'll go first if you guys don't mind. So, all right, again, this is Carlos, but in the upbringing, since we're children, It was kind of rough, parents separated, and at one point of our lives, we were homeless. So my brother and I think I was a junior in high school, and he was still elementary school. So my mother couldn't take all of us, so she had to leave. So we lived in a car for a few months. After that, I'm getting close to senior year. We realize, man, college is going to be a little bit expensive, and how am I going to afford it? I mean, at first I have to find a place to live with my brother, and that's in a sense, my upbringing towards the military was a need, a necessity to be able to find a place to basically put my 2 feet on. You know what I mean? Like I gotta start walking. So I gotta join the military. This is gonna be my first step. Let's go. So that was the reasons why I joined the military. I guess it's a necessity need to be able to escape what I had.
Wow. So you say you started off you were living in a car, Carlos?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep. It was fun. When you think about it back, those good old days, you think about like, it was fun, we're like, in a sense that we were still young children in a way.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really have rules. We could go anywhere. We was in the car. I took my father's car, drive, shower, those bird baths we used to have in the military. It was an expert on it, but again, those are still little things that build who you are later on.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's not a crutch, but it's something to like build off of that, and like, you're stronger now.
Absolutely. Appreciate you sharing that, man. That's pretty deep. I rarely come across, typically what I find out is like someone is either a family member, either runs in the family, or some event that happens where they feel the need to join the military. So that's wow.
No, but one of the great things though is like I started that, the whole family member, because now my youngest brother, AB Delcy, he's in the military currently. He's a 88 Mike, which is a truck driver in the Army. He's stationed in Fort Riley. He just got back from Korea. So, we started something, like a
wow. Wow. That's big time. Appreciate that, Carlos. Man. Thomas, how about you, man?
Well, I'm from Chicago, so of course, as you naturally can tell, like you could just about tell how much of my life was or how it went. Unfortunately and sadly, I didn't know that what I was living through was the norm. I thought it was a norm, but it's not normal. You know what I mean? Like the things that I seen, the deaths, the shooting, everything that you would think about Chicago is kind of true. I survived it. And I guess it took, and then, like I said, I thought it was so normal, but I guess it took for me to see a really close friend of mine die right in front of me. And I think that's what woke me up. I was probably 2 months out of high school in 2015. And I was like, it shook me. And I was like, yeah, well, I guess that's really is not what it's supposed to be, and life can be better. But I didn't know that at first. So I ended up going to the military. At Harlan High School, we had a Black lieutenant colonel retire from the Army. And he was like a mentor of mine and everything like that. And I never seen someone Black in such a high position in anything before. You know what I mean? So that kind of motivated me and molded me to learn that, where I wanted to be in life, that there's more out there. So I went to the military. I ended up scoring real high on my ASVAB, but I became a tanker. And I didn't know at first, what I just thought being a tanker was all cool. But I learned that the higher my score was, I could have got an easier job. Not that I regret the job that I had, because it was, it was everything. I just realized that the military wasn't for me after I obtained everything that I could from the military, free education. It was a really good transition from being a kid to turning into an adult, all the responsibilities, all of that, everything. So yeah, my life, now I've gotten out of the military. I got out as a specialist. Now I've got 2 college degrees. I'm on my own HVAC company here in Austin, Texas.
Are you killing it, man?
Yeah. Life's been okay. I got my first son. He's 1 year old.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Life's been pretty good. I'm, investing into a lot of stocks. I actually hold classes to teach the youth about stocks and marketing and entrepreneurship and everything like that.
Okay.
So I'll put that link in here or something like that at the end of the conversation. But yeah, life's been okay now.
We are for sure going to have to connect, Thomas. In area, and that's what's the name of the group? Is it like a Facebook group as far as like teaching the youth how to? That's one of our pillars. It's one part of our financial literacy pillars. Is that?
Mm-hmm. It's called, well, I haven't really gave it a name. I just, put up a Facebook status every now and then and say, hey, I'm hosting a class. We set up a time about, average about 15 people joins, hold them once a week. So I probably do create a group, something more formal to get everyone connected. Mm-hmm.
So you came a long way.
Yeah, definitely.
You came a long
in just
way.
a short time. In just a short time.
Jesus. Wow. I love hearing stories like that, especially coming from out of Chicago. I think a lot of times our youth, they, pretty much how you said, like the norm, they think that is the norm. That they think that is like, that's the end of the road, So I think hearing more stories like this, where you can literally be and do whatever you want to do with the right mindset. And I think that's the disconnect is that whole mental part. I think that's where it stops with certain youth. They can't get past that that mental hurdle. So, wow.
And it's what I've learned is that I don't think it's about that we can't get past it. I don't think that we know that we need to get past it. I think that there's not a sense of urgency, and especially in Chicago, but in the Black community period, there's not a sense of urgency to want better and do better. But then, you look, not to get, too much politically and everything, but, you see what we're given from the government and how where that put us and everything like that. So, I mean, why would you want better if you only got to pay $20 a month for rent, So, or you're getting food stamps and things like that, which is another conversation. But, I think we've been mentally enabled to even think on our own or to even want better. So that's why we don't know that there is better. And we got to wake up, but it's on us. And I think the onus is on us to get better and want better. It's got to be the person within. No one can change that, no matter who's the president, what's in the government. You have to want the better for yourself. So, and I realized that, and I got lucky to realize that real early. So, definitely.
Absolutely, man. Well, I appreciate you sharing all that. That's big time. Wow. Let's see here. Reggie, man, what's up?
What's up, man? Similar to Thomas, coming up from the southwest side of Chicago. Not really having a plan during high school and stuff like that, man. Like he said, it's the normal. You think everything that's going on that's bad is everywhere. I didn't have too much of a plan, and one of my friends ended up telling me to go see a recruiter and talk me into it, to see something different and show me something totally different. I'm at Chicago at heart. I'm up here, but it's definitely, I don't even know how to put it in words. It's basically like, hey man, we brainwashed out there in them streets. So we think that certain things is cool and the way to go, with all of the things that's going on in the world. We all segregated out of Chicago and stuff like that. It took me to get to Kennedy to even be around other, cultures and stuff like that. And once I did that, that actually helped me to even go see something totally different than the projects, because I'm from a projects out in Chicago. I would say that my decisions now saved my life. Otherwise, I'd be brainwashed too, man. I'll be out here doing the things that all these other people doing. Maybe, who knows what might have happened. But joining the Navy. I've been there 18 years, still going, trying to finish up this last little time. I'm telling you, I'm trying my best to. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, that's the
it's upbringing. Almost the same, because Thomas said a whole bunch, and all I could do is nod my head, like
yeah. It definitely seems like I know once, we let everyone speak, I feel like we all kind of have similar stories in a way. But I feel like it always starts with a struggle and how you persevered and how you push past that, that hard part. I feel like that's the hardest part is to push past that initial push. And once you get past it, I mean, it's limitless.
Right.
JB.
What's good, brother?
OG, man, nothing too much, man.
Yeah, so similar stories as well. Initially was raised by my grandparents, and later on in life, my latter say high school years with my father, and my grandparents mostly, especially my grandfather, he really taught me to be adventurous. And then later on to my father, who was born in the South. He was a workaholic, still works, so he never stopped working, but I didn't understand that mentality. I understand it now. He's 80 years old, probably in the best shape of his life. He looks like he's 40 years old, but he just works. And when I was about 17 years, my father's old school is like, I don't give you nothing. You get out the mud, get it out the mud. I'm like, okay. As a father, as a father in high school as well, I'm like, what do I do? Want to go to college, of course. My dad's like, nope, that's on you. So went to the Air Force, really enjoyed it. But from the Air Force, what made me really realize is that too many times we don't get to travel outside of our environment, right, and understand different cultures and people and the language, right, and that's probably been the best experience and the knowledge that I learned in the military is how to adapt to different people, cultures, and environments. Being able to adapt in life, period, is something that we all should learn, and that's one of the most things I took away from it. I still have friends that I talk to. A few from the military, and we all agree upon the same thing, just being around different people. And also when you're in the military, you're a military member, you're not black, green. So I think that overall you have the same cause. So overall, a great experience. I would do it again. But my adventurous side told me that, and this is no knock to the military, it's just I felt like all I had to do was show up for work and they would pay me, make sure I always had food, clothing, and housing, right? I'm like, but to me personally, for me, it was like, okay, I get it, and it's worth doing, but let me see what I can do on my own. So it led me to become an entrepreneur, for the majority of my life, and I take my hats off to the military and to commanders and leaders that gave me a strong foundation, but most of all to my grandparents, my father.
Do you think, JB? I have a question. So do you think if you did not join, you said the Navy, right? Correct.
Air Force.
Air Force. I'm sorry. If it wasn't for the Air Force, do you think you would have ventured off into being an entrepreneur? Do you think that exposure helped guide you that way?
I think I would have, because of I just through history and learning, right? I learned that my grandfather was one of the first founders of North Chicago. And was a millionaire, and so I think it's in our bloodline also. But as a young kid, and with my grandfather, he would drive me around. I love my grandpa. He said, "Who owns that building? Who owns that building?" He's like, "You don't have to work there; you own it." So I'm not sure, but I'm almost sure that I probably started to be an entrepreneur because it was put in me. You know what, GB, you can work for yourself. You can do this. It's not easy. You think about it 24/7. I think what the military did help me do was learn how to adapt to different people and cultures and environments. So that's a big plus.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, JB. The Air Force, man. So how many different branches do we have? Air Force. Times you said you was a driver.
I think we got all of them, man. Besides
Really?
Coast Guard.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I know Mr. Tyler Saylor. That's one of his, right?
Yeah. We haven't heard from Joe yet, right?
No, Joe.
How we doing? So
what was the upbringing?
Man. So I was actually born in Cabrini Green Hospital, which a lot of people didn't know. And then from there, I lived in Bridgeport for a while. And then from there, I lived in Bright Park. So I was raised in a very drug addicted household, with a mother that eventually ended up overdosing. A father that was a workaholic, but also an addict, raised by a grandmother and a grandfather until he passed. So my grandmother was pretty much my everything. And my bedroom was a living room, and I stayed on the couch. And I had a dresser in the dining room. A lot of us can relate in Chicago. Yeah, a lot of us can relate. And you know, every morning you take your sheet and your blanket and you fold it up and you toss it in a closet, and so you can have that bed, you know. And it's almost like couch surfing your whole life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't know I lied a lot growing up. Luckily in Kennedy we had to wear uniforms, so a lot of people didn't know I was a poor kid, you know, because we all had to wear the same thing. I knew how to buy broken down cars and work on them and make them run. So I always had different cars to drive in. So I always looked like I had money. Never had a dime in my name. I knew how to flip a car. And that's what always kept money in my pocket. And then, of course, I always got into some bad habits and things of selling things you probably shouldn't have been selling at the time, and running with crowds I shouldn't have been running with, and things I shouldn't have been doing. And my out was school. I would get to school and play every sport, every activity, anything I could do not to be in the environment I had to be at home. Because, well, at home I didn't have anything. But at school I had activities, I had clubs, I had all kinds of stuff. So I'd be at school from 6 in the morning, 6 at night. So I found that as an outlet. Same thing as Reggie. There was a guy on the swim team who came in. His dad was in the Marine Corps. His name was Brendan, I think his name was. And me and him brought me to the recruiting office, and lo and behold, I seen it as an out to get away from it, and ended up joining the Marine Corps. Ended up loving the Marine Corps. I had my own bedroom for the first time in my life. Even though I had a roommate, it was my own bedroom.
Yep.
And I don't know, but a lot of people can probably relate that have never had their own bedroom. That first time to have your own bedroom or your own coffin rack. The feeling of that, or to have your own bed. When I got to boot camp and they said I had my own bed and I could make my own rack, boy, I tell you what, they was like, they made me a squad leader, and I was a squad leader the whole time through boot camp. Boy, I can make a rack. You want me to tell all them guys make their bed? I'll be on them. And that just was my motivation. Like, these guys don't know what it's like not to have. So I'm gonna show them what it's like not to have. And you motivate guys to teach them because you know what it's like not to have. So for the rest of my life in my career, I made it a point to do with less. In the military, if you could do with less than they're already giving you, you're doing all right. Especially in the Marine Corps. And I was always a frontline guy. My unit, we had some bad ones, and yeah, I mean, I miss it every day, and I bet you all of us can relate. It's not so much missing the bureaucracy; it's missing the camaraderie.
It's the people. It's the people. Yeah. I think it goes as far. It's so deep to say that it's the people. I was telling Miss Saylor this a while back, is that the first interaction I ever had, the first good interaction I ever had with a white person was with her, with a Caucasian person was with her. And I didn't have that a good interaction again with another Caucasian until I got to the military. And I ended up learning that whereas there are some racism, there is some racism in the military, I believe. I was the only person in my unit that was Black. However, I didn't receive that, or I didn't see that racism. They treated me like a brother. I've gotten my life saved from a Caucasian by a Caucasian before. So like the brothership that happened there was the biggest awakening of my life. And like I know I said that I found that the military wasn't for me, but every day I can think about that and I remember like the people is the thing I miss the most. We keep in contact, a lot. Some people decided to, resign, reenlist. I just, I learned that there was a way. You don't make a lot of money in the military, and a lot of people think that. A lot of people think you make a lot of money, but you definitely don't make a lot at all.
Are you sure, man? My buddy came back from the military. He bought a brand new truck.
Because he saved.
It looks good. Yeah. So okay,
no
you're
house.
right. When you go,
I didn't have a house.
You can't spend no money in Afghanistan.
Exactly. You save it, and plus all of the hardship pay they give you, and when you get deployed, things like that. So of course you get to save a lot. And that was one of the things that I was able to do, was save a lot. But yeah, it was the people. It was the people that I learned, and that was one of the best experiences of my life. Outside of all of the traveling from Korea to Europe, I actually met my girlfriend in Europe, and she now have a son with her. So I found my love in Europe, actually. So and she's actually Caucasian. She's European, and I came from a place where I never even thought that I would, even think to, like a white person, yet alone, have a loved one. So that was the biggest awakening that I could ever have right there, for sure.
Man.
I know some of you touched on it, but for the next question, like I think it was Thomas and Carlos, you both touched on some of the opportunities that the military has provided for you. We wanted to go more in depth and talk about it. Like, would you recommend? Like, what you put in, did you get enough out from the military? I guess you could word it as that.
And I'll go first.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, okay, you can go first. Go for it.
All right. Well, so you really don't really understand how much you put into it, but what you get is also kind of, I wouldn't say as equal, but there's a lot of people who have sacrificed so much. I have many friends that have lost their lives who have never returned from, and these kids are 18 years old, so some of them do have, college in mind. Some of them do have bigger plans in the military, because not everyone is a lifer. Some people do join because of school, and that's one of the big benefits that the military does, have, and that's like, I think, one of the biggest stars and thing to shoot for is college. So if you don't have that possibility to go to college right after high school, the military is an option. And like I tell my students today is, sometimes college is reachable, but you could take many paths. Some paths may take longer, some paths are quicker, but the goal is to finally get there. So what you put in when you join the military is a lot of sacrifice, and it's not guaranteed that you're going to get something out of it. For example, these young kids, 18 years old, losing their lives. We did lose one. His name was Neil Turner. Rakirano was one of them. These kids were just 18 years old, haven't even started their life. And their mentality, they had college, but they didn't make it. So there's a huge sacrifice. So I think what you put in is way much more than what you get out of it, but then again, you have to think about what else you get out of it. It's not just education, but you get out, if you join the military, what you get out of it is family. Like you talk about these friends, this brotherhood that you have with people, that's unbreakable. For example, I came back from Afghanistan. The friends that I had here in Chicago, they were nowhere to be found. They thought, hey, let's go out. But when we go out, it's like, hey, man, I don't have money. Well, you thought I have money? Yeah, you're in the military. You make so much money. Like, oh, okay. You start realizing, the friends that you have now, for example, myself, are the people I deploy with and was in the military with. And we live in different states. But our bond is stronger than any friends I had here in Chicago. But education is one of the biggest ones. And again, like I tell most of these youth, the reason why the military is such a great idea is, yes, you do put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it, but if your goal is to do college, it's I think it's one of the best routes you could take. I mean, there's many routes, but it's just a route that not only you're able to get money, but if the GI Bill, the post 9/11, they pay you in a sense to go to school. You get housing money, depending on which state you are. I think Chicago is the second highest, California being the first, but you get over $2,000 to go to college. So, for housing. But
Wow.
so you if you're smart, you're able to figure something out. You just get a roommate, pay half, and you just pocket that money and go to college for free, and then get your education in whichever you want to, and whatever career path you want to take. You know what I mean? But that's the one thing that the military does. One of those benefits is education. And like I said, I know I'm repeating this many times, but I think it's really important because I do have students, and I tell them, because many of them know that they ain't gonna go to college because A, it's not affordable, or B, they just don't see a way for them to go to college. It's just no way. This is where I live. My parents don't have any money. I'm come from a single home place, single parent home place. It's just impossible. It's not impossible. There's different routes, and it's okay to take these routes. But then again, there are sacrifices, so it's like a double-edged sword in a sense.
Definitely a sacrifice.
I wholeheartedly agree with what he said. It's a sacrifice, but with my children, I wouldn't recommend them going there because I am the first person to join the military. I'm not the only one that joined the military in my family, but in my immediate family, yeah. The goal is to not put my kids through what I'm going through. So I'm going to buy and purchase and get everything that they need to get wherever they got to go. So I own 3 properties now. So the goal is if something happened to me ever, hey, they get this property and I get them school, because in some states you get school for free if you join the military. Illinois is one of them. You go to California and the kids can get school for free. So that's what I'm sacrificing now. That's why I stayed there for so long. Do I recommend it? Yeah, you do what it is, but have a plan. The plan is the plan. Stick to whatever it is. But everybody does not need to know your plan. All right, so all the young people who want to join the military, everybody don't need to know that you joined for college or you joined for whatever it is, because they could use that against you. It's evil people everywhere. So you don't want to just come in without a plan. Keep it in the back of your mind while you do it. But remember what the job is. The job is you're doing whatever the government wants you to do. So you're doing whatever it is that they tell you to do. And like, I'm an engineer right now. I'm an engineer, but I'm doing a special duty right now. So I got to do whatever they tell me to do, whatever time of day that it's going to be, all for school, all for my kids. But that's a sacrifice that we got to do. Now, if you can open up a book and read that book and become the master of that book and go to college off a scholarship, that's what I recommend. Unless you really want to go and serve your country, you can go and do that, because the camaraderie is good. You know, I got a camaraderie with people from high school and stuff like that too, but it's nothing like the military. Like even I haven't seen Joe in years, but hey man, if we see each other, we're gonna be the same thing. We're in two different branches. It's just one of those things that's called love, man. We gotta love one another. But I recommend it, but you got to keep that plan, and you got to make sure that, hey, sometimes you got to write your notes down and keep them in the back of your mind, and don't let nobody know what you're doing, because people throw a wrench right into that in those gears and stop you from it. You don't want to serve the Navy. I mean, not the Navy, but the military, and then somebody stop your process, and now you join the military and put in this hard work, and you can't even continue your path that you came in to do, because a lot of people don't make it to the 4 years. So you got to have a positive attitude. This is going to teach you to be an adult. And if you come see me, I'm going to teach you just like, I'm going to talk to you just like an adult. I don't care how old you are. Because at the end of the day, I got to serve right next to you. And I would hate to see you dead, or you kill me, or kill somebody that I'm next to. So you got to be prepared for the military. The military is serious. But at the same time, it can save your life like it saved mine.
Absolutely.
To piggyback on that. Exactly. I'm gonna train my Marines. It's hard. and it is as diligent as I can because I want them to know every single thing possible. You know, we're doing jobs. You know, I was both in Fallujah and Saginaw Valley and a bunch of other places. And I mean, everything from, I mean, you're doing jobs, everything from visiting dignitaries to now you're kicking in the door. You know, you're in your dress blues to you're sewing your pants up with dental floss. So it's a wide range of activities you're doing, and you're going to be taught them to the best of my ability from the experiences I learned through my life. So now, and the reason I kept going is because I've seen the hardships and things around the world. A lot of people don't understand the United States is a first world country.
Mm-hmm.
And we live in a land that is absolutely beautiful. And I love that I got to sacrifice my body, my life, and my time to give all these people everything they enjoy. And to say everything they do, you know, and I'm sure all of us can say that here. But at the same time, you know, I sacrifice so my children don't have to. Because I set my children up for success in the future, just as Reginald has, to where they don't have to do that. So where something happens to me, they are set. They don't have to do that because I've taken the time and sacrificed my freedom and lives and everything I did to do that for them. And I'm sure a lot of us here have done that in our lives, so our children don't have to. So, but if my child decides to do that, I'm going to support them wholeheartedly because ultimately it's their decision. And to piggyback on what Reginald said, it's really when you have that plan and you go in, remember it's yours. Remember, it's your happiness ultimately. And you're not here to please anybody else in this world, but it's your happiness and your happiness that's going to carry you forward in life. Because if you ain't internally happy with what you're doing and the decisions you make in life, you're not going to be a happy person in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe you want to.
I want to piggyback off that as well, right? A lot of times when these young people go to see these recruiters, right, based upon their test scores, the recruiter says, hey, this is your job here. I would advise them to truly look for the most part and be selective as possible. If they can see themselves doing it for the next 4 years or 20 years, if it's only 4 years, right, is it in their plan to also do it outside? But also, I think the gentleman said he scored very high on his ASVAB, but he was directed to another job. Make sure you push your recruiter based on your test scores. Are there other opportunities that you can see yourself doing for 4 years or for 20 years that's relatable and that you enjoy doing as well? Otherwise, I've seen a lot of people go into the military and they hated their job. They love the military but hate their job. So there are some choices in there based on your test score, but also how much you push as well.
I think that to piggyback on you guys, and the question was, would you tell someone else that they should join? I think it's all about I think it's about situational environment and your mentality too. If you're talking to the inner city kid from Chicago, from the South Side like me, and you ask him and you tell him, whether or not he should go to the military, I would tell him to, yeah. But if you're asking a suburban kid who has a family, who, you know what I'm saying, who has a future planned out because their family put them in a position to, not saying it's a knock, but to put them in a position to excel, then go excel doing that. Go excel, go to college or go do whatever those endeavors are. But I think it's all about situation. And then not only that, it's about your mentality. Me, I came in the military, and it wasn't anything about patriotism at all. Is the reason why I joined. I mean, I didn't believe, anything about the country and all of this, the land of the free. I wasn't in that mentality yet. Granted, I was young, but I was from Chicago. I had a hood man's mentality. You know what I'm saying? So I came into this place, and they line you up as soon as you get into as soon as you go to basic training. They line you up, and all of these drill sergeants, they yell at you and they ask you, what did you join for? And you hear all of these people, everybody that goes before you, and they say, hey, I joined because my grandpa did it, or I'm trying to serve my country. I want to make my country a better place, and this and that, which is cool and all. But when it got to me, I told him I went because I didn't have a choice. And at that point, I didn't think I had a choice, but I did. And my choice wasn't because I wanted to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. I barely got through high school. College wasn't for me, it was more because I knew that where I am now is where I'll be stuck forever if I didn't go. And like everyone else said, it's about a plan. I literally, and I'm probably the youngest who went to the military here, so this is relatable for the people who's watching, the youth who's watching. I literally wrote a list down of all of the things I wanted to accomplish, I wanted to do, I wanted to see. I wrote a list down and where I wanted to be when I got out. 2 years into the military, I knew that I wasn't going to do 20 years. But 2 years in, I already knew I had a plan. I was already financially not set, but financially good. And now it's all about creating generational wealth for me and my family. Now, I was able to help my mom, who has 2 restaurants in Chicago. It's on 79th and College for anybody that's there.
What's the name?
One on 92nd and Aretha's Dream, and she owns it's called Aretha's Dream, and she actually owns a grocery store too on 92nd and College.
Oh wow!
And I definitely I was able to help her. I was able to I have 6 other siblings. I was able to help them come down here to Texas where I lived, and I told them, I'm eating, you can come eat with me. And I was able to help create some type of generational wealth for all of us. But like I said, I really think that it all depends on your situation and your mentality. I was able to write down that list, and I stuck to that list all the time. I went from not being able to drink to I'm in Europe, and it's 18. The legal age to drink is 18. So the culture shock for me was so crazy. And when you think about things like that, I was 18, I was drinking. When you go to Europe, a lot crazy, but that culture loves African Americans. They love Americans, but African American too, for sure. So
we get some love over there, huh?
Yeah, you get a lot of love. Korea, you get a lot of love, definitely. Soju, if anybody ever drunk that, it was great. Goes down real early, but it was just a lot of things that I see. And then like I said, I never received that racism in the military. However, I did see it. And I don't want everybody who's watching to think that the military is just the greatest place in the world. Realize it's ran by human beings, okay? And anything that's ran by human beings is a little dysfunctional. And there's going to be problems in the military, but you need to realize there's going to be problems in anything you ever do in life. That's the part of the life, journey, is that no matter where you go and what you do in life, there's going to be something you don't like about it. It's going to be something that you have to get over, and it's going to be an ultimate goal at the end. So make sure you know your ultimate goal, definitely, and make sure that when you are trying to set forth and you do those goals, you stick with it. And I think the hardest thing was the discipline. It was the discipline to stick with it. It was the discipline to see that I was getting like $600 every 2 weeks, and I wanted to buy J's, and I wanted to buy the charger. I wanted to buy all of this other stuff. It wasn't, it wasn't easy, but the discipline to know what my goal was the biggest thing for me. And I just think that that's what we all should do, is have a plan and be disciplined to stick to that plan, like everybody else previously said.
I feel like that's just in life in general, to always, have a plan and stick to that plan, just like you said, Thomas, because I think that, if you kind of just live it day by day without any goals or without any, goals that you're trying to achieve, you're just kind of just out there doing whatever. So the biggest thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. a lot of people think that it's, you know, one, being in the military is a serious job. Two, it's not easy. And three, is nothing is a given. Like, you know, people think I got free education. I was getting free money and all of this from, I don't know what they were thinking, but that was their mindset. And realized nothing was free. I was a grown man letting another grown man come in my bedroom every morning at 6 o'clock and tell me whether or not it was clean. Let him flip over my bunks if it wasn't clean to his standard. Every morning at 6 o'clock, I let another grown man do things like that. So nothing was really easy. Nothing was, you know what I'm saying? It's the grind for it. So, you know, when I realized that it wasn't just about me, it was about everybody, and it was about the discipline for everybody. And I realized that those same things, just as simple as making sure your room was clean, would be the ultimate decision when you're out there in the battlefield, making a life and death situation. So it wasn't free, it wasn't easy, and you're definitely not getting free money there. So
but
realize that if you're
immediate, I'm sorry to cut you off, but those immediate willing obedience to orders allow me to give you a command on a battlefield, and you to follow that in an instant is a muscle memory to make a decision. If I tell you to run left, you run left without hesitation to save my life or the guys to the left and right of you. And it starts as simple as making that bed the way I told you to make it the first time, the second time, the third time.
Yes.
And it's to have that self-discipline and confidence in yourself and that self-diligence to swallow your pride and just get it done without saying a word.
Yeah.
And it's a little hard when you have kids, because then you start instilling that in your kids. so luckily that's our wives handle that soft part a little bit, or our significant others. But yeah, it's such a treat to have that. I guess it instilled a thing in me that I didn't have growing up.
Go ahead, Reggie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, everything is written in blood. Like they saying, like, you know, I agree with everybody, right? You know, but everything is written in blood, man. It goes into how you fold your skivvies, that's your draws, how you fold your socks and stuff. If you could pay attention to detail, that's what it's about. If you pay attention to details, I'm an engineer, man. If I go tell you to close a valve or don't open a valve, and I'll give you exactly what valve it is to go into, our engineering plant, and you go and do the opposite, the steam kills people. You can kill everybody in that space. Same thing like Joe said, man. If he said go right and you go left, you go step on a mine or something like that, you dead. Now we got to live with it. That's where PTSD and stuff come from, and that's where you die and your family is messed up. So that's what boot camp is about. That's what the schools that you go to after that is about, when people are yelling at you and stuff. It's to break them barriers that you have, that little attitude that you may have that you don't even notice that you have, the smacking the lips, all that type of stuff that kind of need to go away when you come into a organization that's already set in stone. It's not about you anymore. It's about everybody. So how do we break the barriers from everything? Yes, racism is around, but at the same time, if I'm out there in the battlefield somewhere or anything, or a space is flooding or something like that, I don't care who's racist or not, pull me out. Get me out. You see what I'm saying? So none of that matters, man. We all grew up in different type of ways, man. And like I said, and I believe Thomas said he never encountered a white person until he joined the military, and I ain't encountered one until high school. So we all come from different parts of America or the world to where they're taught that. I was taught to be afraid of white people. They're taught to be racist. So sometimes our first interaction with people, we need to break those barriers and say, hey, man, I'm from Chicago. This is a part of America. I talk like this because Chicago is America. So when they say stuff like about why we wear have big rims and all that stuff, no, that's a part of America too. So you got to just prove your point without being ignorant. You know what I mean? So just remember, to get back on topic, that we're joining an organization or talking about an organization that's already set in stone to break the barriers from everything else, to neutralize the New Yorkers, the Chicagoans, the the people from Alabama, the people from Poland, the people from all these other places. We got to come to a standard and come to a meeting ground and say, you know what, I'm gonna drop my stuff and we're gonna go ahead and do this and build that camaraderie right here. Because I'll tell you right now, man, some people that I know, man, that probably had hate in their heart, but they'll come save you. And we'll just talk about it later. So that's why we do all those folding and they come in and yell at you, man. Yeah, that's why they do, because I do it on a daily basis. I come in, I yell them, but I let them know though. I let them know why I'm doing it. Hey man, I don't want to see you later on because I'm gonna retire, and I don't want to see y'all dead in the newspaper. I don't want to see that y'all couldn't follow instructions, because instructions is real, man. It's real out there, especially when you on a $16 billion aircraft carrier or however much money that it is. You on these things right here, man. You do the wrong thing, you can cost numerous people who had nothing to do with your lives, and it's scary.
I just want to add, real quick. I just want to add something because I know we talked about if we'll recommend this to either other youth or our own children. But just to bring up, I was an infantryman in the Army, and it's not the easy job. It wasn't my choice. I really didn't know anything about the military, but something like I've talked about from the beginning, different paths. All right. For example, even if you go to college, it's not a guarantee that the degree you go for is going to get you a job or if there's an open market for it. And some students, believe it or not, go to college and get a degree that's in a sense useless. You know what I mean? I hate to say that, but it is. And that happens so much. But again, I'm not a recruiter. I had kind of like the worst job. I wouldn't recommend that job for anybody in the Army. But what the Army does have is the opportunity to have many jobs in which could lead you to a career path when you get out. Nurse, dentist, doctor, fireman, police officer, water management, journalist, photographer, believe it or not. So the Army, for example, I'm going to use the Army myself, has all those jobs. And in a sense, you are getting into that field and getting paid right off the bat. Mm-hmm. Again, you don't have to join the military and go fight. There's also reserves. There's also, I wouldn't say National Guard because National Guard sometimes deploys more sometimes, but there is the reserves, in a sense you're able to go ahead and do what you want to do at the same time as go to college. But again, if college isn't like the main one, but you want to do something like photography, or journalists, the military has those jobs. It's not just combat. It's not. So those, if you're listening, I don't want nobody to get scared, because I think joining and fighting for this country is one of the best, most honorable thing you could do, but, I've always kept, John F. Kennedy's quote, ask not what you could do for your country, ask what you could do for your country, you know what I mean? But again, the military, I think, is like a stepping stone. Like if you're thinking about getting into being a dentist or a nurse, that could be your first step, you know what I mean? Because sometimes the first step to being a nurse is going straight to college, and that kind of sucks because you're not able to have the opportunity or that money. But guess what? The military could get you that big push, being a nurse or a police officer, fireman. Like I said, there's many jobs, and it's all about doing searching. But I just want to bring that up, you know what I mean? Because I know there is a lot of negatives, but there is a lot of positives, and there's different routes to get to what you want to do. That's it.
Hey, can I add one thing?
Go ahead,
it seems like maybe all of us was enlisted. You don't have to join the Navy. I mean, military is enlisted, man. You can go and go into things like officer candidate schools. I'm pretty sure every branch has that. You can go be an officer. You can be a person that could end up being in control of the whole that branch of service. You can go, you can go different routes. You can get education before you get in and then join and become an officer. Don't just settle for what we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like you said, man, we all have some hard upbringings, but I guess we're doing this, to guide whoever it is to go and be a little bit better than what we're doing. Because ask me what jobs I think is hard, and I'll tell you, in the Navy, I'll let you know, hey, man, these are hard. This might not be what you like. The gamers, you might not want to come into my field because you ain't gonna have time to game. Now, if you want to go be an IT, every branch has an IT server. You better be IT. Hey, you don't want to come and be no engineer and think that you go get signal or have time to play games.
Right.
I know that's one of the things that we might have talked about. I do think that you know, how we talking like we hardcore. I'm in a different. Me and Joe was in the same kind of around the same time. We joined the same time out of high school. I do think that this era of kids that's joining are way smarter than us. You know,
actually, you're going right into our next question. Go right ahead.
Given,
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll just say the question before you continue. So, given today's atmosphere, should the youth join the military?
It wasn't. I think you guys just answered that, right?
Yeah.
So what was the next one about the youth? About the youth.
The youth,
the next question, Tyler, the one after that one. Because I think Reggie's about to go right into it.
No, that was the question.
Okay, so like, you know, right now we all play games and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I see these people, I mean, I'm talking on a daily basis, man. I believe that they're stronger than what I am, and what I was, and some of the other people, man. We might say that they weak and all this other type of stuff like that, man. But I can't go 10 minutes, 15 minutes without my cell phone. So we expect them to go 2 months without doing it and stuff like that. And then their ASVAB is a lot higher than ours. So technology definitely plays a part in everything. As far as being physical, it might, you know, anybody can get physical. It's just training. That's where they come to get basic training. You know, they get strong and stuff like that. But at the same time, these people come in with different way of viewing things instead of, hey, just do what I say. And sometimes they'll stop and say, hey, why? Hey, Chief, why do I do like this? It ain't me to say, you know, because I said so. No, man, I'm going to explain to you. I want to do this so I can go home and sleep and know that you're doing it the right way and I can trust you.
Is that even okay to ask why? Like if
I mean, nowadays I believe so. It depends on the person. It depends on who they talk to. I'm a down-to-earth person. Now, that don't mean I won't make them do push-ups and stuff with a smile on my face. You know what I mean? But it's all about teaching, right? So we got to teach these people and let them know what they're doing it for. Like, hey, are you doing this so you won't die, man? So you won't go out there and explode and stuff like that. I think that works with the youth now. You know what I mean? Like, I do believe gamers can do this, man, because they saw it on Call of Duty. They seen it. They seen exactly whatever it's gonna be. They know what Halo is about. They you know, they come in and they got YouTube. They can research all these things and see all this stuff before they even join. So they well prepared more than what we are.
I agree. But I
think the military right now, man, is moving in the way up. Is moving forward.
As far as technology, as far as like technology and everything.
No. With the people, like, you know, you might have some people that's a little bit more sensitive than when I came.
So from what I'm seeing is that it is a more sensitive breed coming in. It is a lot more Y breed coming in.
Yeah.
They got rid of a lot of old dogs.
Yeah.
That were a lot of the over deployed, harder group, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm. So you say would you say that it's evolving?
I think we are, as a whole entire military, we are evolving into a better, smarter, more educated group. I think because of the education levels, they are wanting to know the answer. Why am I doing this? Like Reginald was saying. So in that terms, they're being disciplined at the same time they're being told why.
Yeah.
I want to know why too, right? I mean, that's how I learn. That's how I do things better, when I know the why behind it.
Yeah, no, I think real quick, the military is evolving, depending on the times that we're living in. The military is not the same military that most of us join in. It is different. Rules have changed drastically, and would this generation be able to fight the wars that we fought? I would say probably not. But there is positives. There is positives going on though with technology. These kids are more technology-wise savvy, you know, because for example, most of us, there was no cell phones when we were coming up, you know. I mean, we didn't have to worry about that. And the military was different. The military was more harder, you know, let's beat this down. You know, I'm gonna beat you down, but then I'm gonna build you up. Now we have these youth are. I hate to use the word sensitive because they might be upset, but there is that little bit not as brawl, you know, as the old generation. Well, the generation of this compared to this one is different. So I guess, you know, just like we're teach to adapt, you know, I mean, well, that's what the military is doing.
I
And
also want to stress on this: the battlefield is evolving as well.
yes, that's
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's like, look, it's like robots.
On a very, very strict note, the battlefield is evolving from 2004, where it was all pressure plate. Excuse me. My mind is running a little fast. Sorry, had a stroke. Where it was all pressure plate, man activated IDs and things we were doing, to where now I can send a cell phone signal from miles away and activate different devices. So as the battlefield is evolving, I can set time sensors and different things, and technology is changing, and they do a lot more things. We need these smarter, more educated individuals that are coming up. And I mean, even as I was becoming an older dog, I would grab a young kid coming in fresh out of all the schools and sit him down at a computer and have him walk the old staff sergeant through what was going on, because I didn't know the program.
I think it's kind of like the NBA when you think about it. You know, everybody always say back in the 80s and the 90s, the league was so rough, you know, with Jordan and Pippen, and then you come to now and, you know, we got Stephen Curry, who does nothing but dribble, right? But at the same time, we got Stephen Curry, who does a lot of dribbling, but guess what? He shoots. And when you think about it at that point, 3 points is worth more than 2 points. So now the whole league is getting more points and trying to make more points by shooting threes. And I think you can correlate that with today's youth in the military. We're trying to, I think that, like you guys say, the sensitivity is a lot higher in the military now. Things people, you know, complain and cry about. And I was sitting back, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this isn't a problem at all. We can live with these type of decisions. But on that note, like I said, it's kind of just like that. You know, maybe they are a little bit more sensitive physically, but when you see that we know a little bit more about how to dominate something, especially a battlefield. We can dominate a battlefield like me without even touching the enemy. I was a tanker in the military, and you know, things that I could do with my tank and not even be within a mile of my enemy was, you know what I'm saying, is unbelievable. The things that the technology and the things that we can do now is a lot different. And I say we're evolving, and we're more, you know, you get a lot of older people in the world who don't want to change, who don't want to see the better in things, and thinks that only the old way is the only way, or their way was the only way. But there's a million ways to do it. And just like you guys were saying, you don't always have to go to the military and fight. I want people to realize this. I don't know about any other branch, but the Army specifically has thousands of jobs. Only 3 of those jobs actually fight. Realize that.
I didn't know that.
Thousands
really?
of jobs.
Yeah, just
thousands
you know,
of
tankers, infantry, and artillery.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got tankers, we got the infantry, and we got Cav Scouts. Those are the people who
looking at the YouTube videos and sure.
Yeah, those are the people who actually fight. So everybody else helps to assist. And like you said, you could be a photographer. You can go into videographing. You can go, if you want, whatever you want there. There's musicians in the military who get paid to work out, be a musician. There's musicians in the military. You have to realize that the military has a broad way of what you can do with your life, and that can actually correlate. Unfortunately for me, there wasn't a lot of job opportunities that correlates with being a tanker. So I had to figure out something else, which was HVAC. And I live here in Texas, realizing it's always hot in Texas. Why wouldn't I get into the HVAC industry, right? So, yes, sir. And everybody needs it. And just to let you know, if it wasn't for the military, I wouldn't have the discipline discipline and a strength to be my own business owner, to do what I'm doing now. I started with one truck, barely getting any business, just me by myself with one van. And now I have 8 employees and 6 vans. And I'm doing really good. You know what I'm saying? And this was 2 years into the process. So, and I'm only going to grow, hopefully. Right. So, and if it wasn't for the military, I wouldn't have learned these disciplines and wouldn't have had these things and taken the measures that I've done to even be better and become a better person. So, yeah, I mean, we're, a little bit more sensitive in the military, but at the same time, you know, we're smarter, we're more savvy, we're more able to get to what we need without pretty much any damage, you know. And there are countries out there who's way more far advanced technology wise than we are. But I could put this I could put this only in my MOS. Like me, I went to all over the country, and everybody has better tanks than we do, but none of them could beat us. None of these countries I went to could beat us in a tank war if we ever had that war. You know, even though their tanks were way better than us, but because of what we were able to do with our tanks and how we were able to manipulate the battlefield within the training, no one could no one. And I think that you know, that discipline and those things those intangibles that I learned in the military was one of the things that, you know, helped me excel and be better in life. However, that's not the case for everyone. And I want everyone who watches this and listens to understand that that's not the case for everyone. Many people who get out of the military, life ends after the military. They don't do anything with their lives, and some people are homeless because they didn't make the right decisions. Realize that you are a grown adult, so it's no one else's responsibility to teach you how to be an adult and to teach you what to do after you get out of the military. They was giving us civilian classes. Like when I was on my way out of the military, I was taking classes on how to be a civilian again. Like why? Things like that, but they wasn't teaching me how to go find a job. You know, they weren't like, yeah, we had classes on resumes, on how to, you know, make a resume and how to look for jobs, but that real in deep thing, you can only, it's only from you. You can only be the person to do that. And I think that that's one of the things that I don't want people going into the military and think that that's going to solve every problem in their life. When I was on my way out of the military, I was taking classes. It's definitely about you.
And before we end it,
like, yeah, we had classes on resumes, on how to, you know, make a resume and how to look for jobs.
Is that man?
But that real in deep thing, you can only, it's only.
Go ahead, Ty.
Sorry, audio glitch. Before we ended it, I wanted to touch on something Reggie said about like how we have these kids gaming and then seeing it. I still want to go into the military. I've wanted to go into the military since like 3rd grade. Yep. It started off, I played Call of Duty and I was like, whoa, that's cool. I want to have fun. That looks like fun. Let me go do that. And then as I'm growing older, I'm reading all these books. I'm doing research. Like I don't even do school research. I do research on a job as I'm in like 5th grade. And as I'm maturing, I'm like, I want to do this to like make this a better place for my kids so that they don't have to do it. I forgot who else mentioned that. I think it was Joey and Reggie who also mentioned that. Wanting to make it better so that their kids won't have to do that. Which I just thought was, yeah.
I think the biggest picture here for all of us to realize is that I don't think it's just the military, but no matter what decision you make in life, and no matter what you do with your life and what decisions you want to, what future you want to have, it's about you, and it's only about you. It's about how you project it, how you see things. It's about all up here, what you do in your life. No one can want success more than you want it for yourself. No one. No one can make you get out of the bed. No one can make you go change that bed. No one can make you, you know, make sure your shoes are tight and shined. No one can make you do any of those things. It's all up to you. And if you want to do those things and you want to be a better person in life, then you have to have that discipline to do it. Yes, the military is one of the best ways to get that discipline, but I think it starts at home. And I think it starts with you. You know, I didn't take school serious. So it took for me to be an adult and realize, fortunately I had a free education, but you know,
it wasn't free.
It wasn't free. Right? Definitely wasn't free.
Yeah.
But you know, with the college assistance that I was getting, I realized that, yeah, I can waste it, but what am I getting out of that? You know, I could go to school and just got that monthly paycheck and, you know, barely did enough to pass school and to do nothing. But I decided to do better and decided to, you know, that I wanted to do better. Now I got a degree in data analytics, a degree in engineering and HVAC. You know, so it's all about that person. I have 2 homes, 4 cars now. You know, life is, and I'm 23 years old is what I want. I'm 23.
Good job, brother.
Yeah, man.
Right on.
And I just want everybody to realize that playing basketball, playing any physical sport, any sport at all is not the only thing we can do to get to where we want to be. You know, you can go to the military, you can set up a life for yourself, and then you can evolve and indulge into that life once you get out of the military. And your life doesn't never stop. And that's one thing I've learned. Life never stops for you, you know? So once I die, I'm hoping that, you know, once I die, I can create that wealth and that generational wealth for my son. And it's not just money wealth, it's the mentality wealth. It's everything. And it's everything that makes you an of your person, you know, and those disciplines that I got from the military, as I want to stress again, those intangibles are what set me to be the person I am today. And realize that most businesses, all of these 500 grand businesses, all of these businesses in the world has basically modeled their principles off of the military. The integrity, values, the discipline, they all basically model their businesses off of the military. So realize that, you know, we can always do better, and there's always a way to find a way to be better, you know, and it's not just one way to find that better.
And I don't. Go ahead, Reggie.
I'm sorry. That's brilliant, man. That is outstanding, especially for like 4 years and done. That's what we call it, 4 years and getting out. He had a serious plan. I'm in the military still, not to, you know, do the serving the country thing, because I think it's only a select few people that do that, and I think Tyler is one of them. That's outstanding. I'm happy to be doing my job. I'm happy to be doing it, and just because my mindset wasn't there to be, you know, to die for the country and stuff, doesn't mean I wasn't doing my job. So nobody can tell you why to join. But it seems like during this chat, we got over 100 years of service and different genre eras of getting in and getting out and stuff like that. We got somebody who 4 years, I think somebody 8 years. I'm at 18 going to 20. Did I want to go do 20 years? Probably not. But from where I'm from, it just looks great because that's where I'm from. I never envisioned myself being in for 18 years, going to 20 years. I thought I was going to do 4 years. Hell, I thought I was going to go off to college and stuff like that. But when it was time to do the college stuff, I wasn't paying attention. I was worried about the wrong things. You know, I was worried about the next gal or whatever, the girl or whatever's going on. You just got to focus and keep a plan. You know, fortunately, it worked out for a majority of the people that I know. But some people, majority of people that's out there is just not the truth. It's not going to work out. So you got to stick to your plan and don't forget why you came, and don't hang around. Don't hang around home. Sometimes you got to go out and venture out. If you used to people from Chicago or these urban areas, hey, go kick it with some country person, get their perspective. Mm-hmm. That way you can see it from a different way, and we can really see what we use that R word, which is racism, come from. See how it was taught to people, and see how you can do your job to fix it. Because it ain't gonna fix it with everybody that's here right now. It's gonna fix it with their children. It's gonna fix it with everybody else that we have that's going on in our own household. So do your part, and you'll be good to go. But at the same time, like I said, we all got different experiences and stuff like that, man. Just get a plan. Have a plan. The military is not a bad gig. It's not a bad 20-year gig. It's not a bad 30-year gig. You just happen to be able to retire at 20 years prematurely, but that doesn't mean that you retire. It's actually 30 years of service. So you go into this thing called the Fleet Reserve after 20. So you got to plan. Hey, even then, you got to plan to be recalled. You never know. Hey, not the Navy. Hey, sorry, Navy. The military will get every ounce of money out of you. What I mean by that is whatever you're getting paid for, they're going to make you do that job. You're going to do whatever it is, and you're going to do it 100%, sometimes 200%. So be prepared to work. Be prepared to be chewed out, which is cursed out or, yelled at and stuff like that. Ask your questions and stuff like that. You might find some people out there and do things. And I know we said, to backtrack this a little bit, we said that people ask why and stuff like that. It's our job as leadership or the leaders that's in here to answer those questions in the beginning stages. So when they do get on the battlefield, they will not ask those questions. They do trust you. And it's just unfortunate that some of the leadership people, you can't trust them because they clueless. You know what I mean? So, or they mean, or they still stick to their old racism or whatever it may be back in the past. And we all know that it is, but it's programs for all of that stuff. I'm just proud of some of the topics that came up, man. And in 4 years to get out of the military and then do all that stuff, man, that's outstanding. Yeah. That's outstanding. I'm telling you. Because I'm going to tackle what he did at 20. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna be set. I'm gonna have a pension and stuff off of this and all that stuff, and whatever else, and go to school and all that stuff to continue my education as well. But to do that at an early age, it can be done. And right now, let me tell y'all something about the retirement now. Now, see, they can't retire the way that I retired. Everybody who's coming in now is coming in the blended retirement system. Yep. And just like somebody just said, that they're going to come in and the first thing you wanted was a Dodge. The first thing you want is a big truck. First thing you want to go do is get the new jerseys or the new mics or whatever it is that's out there. It's trickery. Use your money and put it in stocks. Use your money to save. Don't go out there and start blowing your money on stuff because they expect you to do stuff. The blended retirement, that can make you a millionaire if you invest that in the beginning. You're not going to make it very far if you go in and start buying things because you're not going to get the high 3 that I get. I'm going to get my last rank, the high 3 for the rest of my life. Now, if you don't invest your money with this blended retirement in the right direction, you're going to get out of the military with 0. So you have to be prepared for what's what. Now, if you join right now and know what's going on and be able to save your money, you can walk out of here as a millionaire by the time you, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, if you know how to manipulate the stock market. It's easy.
And just one thing that I got one thing to say is no matter what job you go to, no matter what job you're doing in a life, never have just one revenue stream. Never just have one way that you're getting paid. Always have more than one way to get paid. That's no what you're doing in the world. Make sure you have more than one source of income. What I'm trying to say, more than income. You can't just be just a teacher. You can't just be just a military man. You can't be just anything in the world. You need to have at least 2 sources of income. That's the reason why they say it takes a village to raise a kid. Like you need more than just one source of income. So if I can stress that, I can't stress that enough. And I mean, the stock markets, we're consumers by nature. So the stock market, so stocks will always be a thing. You know, if it's cryptocurrency, no matter if it's gaming, whatever you love doing or whatever it is, always have another source of income. And stocks is really, really something. But we're all consumers. So realize that there's something that someone always wants something in this world. And you can have that thing that they want. So definitely, no matter what job you have.
Yeah. And I don't think we could end it on any better note than that. Honestly.
I don't think so either.
So I personally want to thank you and on behalf of Bridge the Gap for coming to speak with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all for having me on here. I'm going to give me a little gaming in. I'm 36 years old, about to give me some gaming in too.
I don't even know how to work them. Honestly, I don't.
It clears my mind, man. So I understand the youth, man. I play my Xbox or PlayStation too, man.
Did you get that PS5, Reggie?
Not yet. I'm waiting, man. I'm waiting. I got the X. Hey, I ain't got nothing. This on live. I ain't got nothing. I ain't got nothing. Hey, man, you almost caught me slipping, man.
I was hoping you answered it.
Hey, I got a Nintendo.
Okay.
Tyler, you want to say anything?
Hey, like pretty much you said it all, Tyler. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for joining us and enlightening our youth. I mean, I learned a lot, and I'm sure the more obviously youth watch this video, they would have a better understanding as well. So yeah, thank you, Joe, thank you, Reggie, thank you, Carlos, thank you, JB, and thank you, Thomas. You guys are fine, man. Appreciate you guys for joining our great conversations for today.
So make sure you like,
Make sure you like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Hey, I'm gonna make me a YouTube thing, man, and y'all gotta like and subscribe, man. I'm a funny guy.
Know.
I'm not just funny looking. I'm a funny guy. All right? I gotta
remember, live fast, die last.
Well, hey, you know what? On that note, it's T
and T,
and we are out.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Be
guys.
well. Be healthy. Thanks, guys.